This is Martial Arts Explorer, exploring practical self-defense techniques as revealed in classical martial arts of all styles. I'm Scott Combs. First-degree black belt John from England sent us a very nice email that says, in part, I like the applications of the useless moves, stuff that I've previously thought of just as filler to move from one strike to another. And your approach to the interpretation of forms, and especially the close-in applications, was something of a eureka moment. These are all applicable to my katas, and I feel much happier that there is more sense to it all. John is having the same experience we had when first exposed to classical martial arts. This gives me an opportunity to define more of what we mean when we use the terms traditional martial arts and classical martial arts. For us, the term traditional martial arts refers to the systems that were transported to the West after World War II in a form intended only for children. The term classical martial arts refers to the same systems in a form intended for adults to be used in real self-defense situations. As you can imagine, there is a world of difference in what you can teach a child as compared to an adult. Moreover, there are some things a child should not be taught until they're capable of making very serious decisions under extremely stressful conditions. John also asked about the system we use for striking vital points. In the States, we often refer to them as pressure points, popularized by Master George Dillman. Some Chinese systems refer to these types of vital points as cavities, as in cavity press. Still others talk of dim mak or death touch. When we use the term or use a term such as lung 5, we're referring to an acupuncture location, easily found in any good acupuncture manual. However, one should train under an instructor who understands pressure point fighting before trying to access these points. You need to know things like location, angle, direction. You'll need to understand anatomical variances and how to soothe or restore the point after you've agitated it with all your grabbing or hitting. John, if you'll send us an email with your location in England, we'll send you the contact information for several qualified instructors. This time, Michael is working on an interpretation for a chambered knife hand strike.
Thanks, Scott, and thanks for joining us. We're going to take another look at knife hand strikes. They show up in so many different forms, different styles, different versions, and they're very useful. A lot of times people say that they're just blocks, and we've talked about that before. They can be so much more. We're going to look at a chambered knife hand strike. Now, if we're talking about the blocking motion at the end, that's fine. It could possibly happen, but what about if the blocking motion actually comes in the middle? Tom's going to jump in and join me. And we're going to look at something from an arm grab today. So he's grabbing my arm. He's winding up, he's pulling me. Maybe I see him and turn forward, maybe I don't, maybe I'm turned sideways. It doesn't really matter. All we're going to do, we're going to start off basically a panic block, just bringing our hands up, protecting my face. So as I feel the arm wrap around me and he starts to grab, he's going to wind back, pull back his arm, and I'm going to get ready to block because I don't know what's coming. I'm not expecting it. So he comes in, and I bring my hands up this way. All right, all I'm going to do is start bringing my hands across my body. As I do it, though, what's going to happen is my hand is coming around the outside. I'm stepping out to his outside to move away from the punch. That's a natural motion. If he's going to punch me, I want to move the other way. And I'm going to bring these hands up and I pull him right to my center. So he winds up and pulls. I come in this direction. It starts to apply a lot of pressure to the outside of his wrist, and it also starts to turn. Notice if I do this, his body moves very quickly. So that's what we're working against. Now, if the punch happens to make it to me, fine. I have two hands up. I have my blocks ready. So we're covered in that respect. He grabs on. I panic, put my hands up, I step to the outside and start my block. Now, from here, we're going to work on this chambered knife hand strike. This position, step and strike. We're going to use the step in everything. Remember, when you step, it's a signal that you might be moving closer, but you might also be throwing a knee strike on the step. You might be throwing a kick on the step, both of which are easy to use in this case, especially if I rotate his body out this way, it starts to flare knees for me. In this position, I can't reach his back leg very easily, so I'm going to take the front one with the knee. I'm going to come in, knee strike. As I land right here, here's this knife hand strike. Knife hand does not need to be thrown just with the hand. Remember, you can use all the way down the hard bone edge of your forearm here. So one more time, he winds up, turn in, I start my panic motion, strike one, come down, strike two, nice gallbladder 20 strike, correct angle, straight up and in. If he's turned a little more forward to me, I might come in with a forearm strike and just land it right against the jaw. We're going to get the class, let them give it a try. Thanks, Tom. All right, guys, we're working on chambered knife hand strike. We've done lots of different ideas for these, and here's just another one. This time we're coming in from the grab from the arm. If John's grabbing on my arm and he's winding up for the punch, we're not working on the jacket this time, we're working on the arm. He's got a hold of me, he's coming in from behind. All I want to do, I'm going to bring my hands up, but when I do it, I'm just going to slip on the outside, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on his wrist. So as this comes in, I want to make sure I move out. Notice I'm starting to step out of that 45, and right here, this is the beginning of my motion. Next, I'm going to move back in. If he throws a punch, fine, I have my hands here. What's next? I step. Step becomes knee strike or kick, land forward, and there's my shot. I can grab onto this arm with my back hand. I can try and trap it in behind me. All right, so it's very useful and it's very quick and easy. Wrap, step, strike. All right, give it a try. Yeah, I'm going to change him just a little bit. Okay. You're getting a good block and stuff, but we're going to follow the knife hand motion here more. Make sure instead of coming this way, wrap this hand when you do it, and that's going to twist him out. All right, so up this way, and get him up nice and high. That's one thing I want you to work on too. Don't just think about a nice easy block here and a block here. Block with both hands, get them both up in front of your face. So as you're grabbing on and this comes in, I'm going to bring both of them up right here. It takes your hand off, and that's fine because I'm free and clear. I'm out of the way of this, I have my blocks up, and then I start moving back in, all right? So on the outside, big twist, hands high. Get a good block in there. There it is. Yep. And that moves you so much further offline, it pulls his body sideways. Now there's a couple things I want you to notice. When we're working on this initial grab, it works from a couple different positions. Tom's grabbing back on me. Can I borrow you again, Tom? All right, we worked a grab where he was sort of reaching behind my arm. So he had a good grip and there was something for me to press back against, all right? Now what happens if he grabs more in front of my arm? So his fingers aren't wrapped behind the back of my tricep, they're all pushing on the front of my bicep. Now when I do this, I'm much more likely just to get a simple release. And like I said earlier, when I was working with Jordan and Tom, it doesn't matter if you get an easy release, that's great. What you want to do is block and move to the side, and you did that. If it's here, I still blocked to move to the side. Now, this does not force his body sideways though, so he's probably gonna punch. So be prepared. We all know how to block, all right? Then what's next? Knee, step, shoot toe. If he's turned far enough this way, I'm not gonna bother to try and come around the side of the head though. I'm just gonna hit him with the knife hand strike on this side. So remember, you can work it from different positions. Also, it still works. What if he grabs just a jacket out on the street, a sweatshirt, or a uniform in this case? The moves are still gonna work. Hand wraps up, I twist in, high block coming this way. He's still tied up, I still have a block. That's all we want. Here it is. Here's the block. From next move, knee strike, come down. I might throw my knife hand with this side. If he happens to push back when I knee strike him, I might throw it on the other side. So be flexible. You don't always have to go to one certain hand, but this move is great because it works from a couple positions. One last thing to note, if we go ahead and we do this, let's do it from regular position where he's grabbing behind, he's sort of pulling onto me a little bit. So I get this nice motion where he twists out, all right, whether he lets go or not. All right, I come in, strike, and I work this gallbladder 20 strike, which is a great spot to knock someone down, but I don't get a knockdown. From here, I might still have a struggle, so remember, apply a takedown. Everybody knows basic moves. Start hitting him with your knee strikes until he falls down. Kick out his back leg, step in and sweep. There's a couple of easy, great motions you can apply. It's nice to finish them with the ground. It's what we recommend because it allows you to leave and escape quickly, all right? Just keep it in mind when you're practicing. Thanks, and back to Scott.
If you want to try this technique at home, remember to use caution. Make sure your partner has a safe landing zone in case you knock them over, as we aren't responsible for any injuries or broken furniture that may occur. Remember to check out the martialartsexplorer.tv website. If you have a comment or a question, please don't hesitate to send an email to us. Send it to explorer@martialartsexplorer.tv. For Martial Arts Explorer and Michael Kleinepier, I'm Scott Combs.